focus on your essays. I wouldn't deter anyone from going mid-year. I mean, it's like you're a freshman again, but then you're not. Meet other transfers who are going through the same thing, realize you are enough. It's not weird that you transferred. Hey there, it's Darcy. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then you wouldn't know that I am an NYU student and I transferred to NYU a year ago from the College of William and Mary. And I've made a lot of videos about transferring, but I realize it's been a bit since I've made one, and I still get the most questions, I would say, from people about transferring. I'll have people Instagram DM me, email me, comment questions about transferring, and I get lots of questions about NYU more generally, but I think there's not a lot of people out there who talk about transferring. And now there's been a year out since I've transferred, I think I have a new perspective on the experience and some new updated feedback on what it's like and advice, because I definitely did one of these a couple months after I transferred, which I will link down below. I don't remember exactly when I did it, but I will find that. And then I also have like an application for NYU video, so that's not really the focus of this video. I'll also link that down below. It's called like what to know if you're applying to NYU, I think. So definitely check those out if that's what you're interested in. But if you are interested in transferring to any school or specifically to NYU, then this video is for you. So in planning to talk about some new advice, I have several things written down on my phone. So like I said, I get a lot of questions about this, and one thing I've started telling people a little bit more recently, for people who are interested in transferring but haven't applied yet, is to wait and then transfer. A lot of people, like their freshman first semester, are interested in transferring, which I definitely understand, and like maybe start planning for it. But I didn't really plan to do this, but I kind of saved my parents money by limiting how long I'm going to be at NYU. I'm going to graduate probably in a year and a half with an NYU degree, which saves a lot of money versus going here for 4 years. So that's where I think it could be really smart to go to a cheaper school for longer and then transfer to a school that is more expensive and then get that degree there, but you've saved money by not going there your whole college experience. So it really depends on your financial situation and everything, but I think that's like some really good advice that people like don't really say. And also a lot of people go to like community colleges and then transfer. Like that's really normal. That's like a really financially savvy way to go, because you get your gen eds out of the way, it's much cheaper, and then you go to the more expensive school and then you get your degree from there. So I know a lot of people at NYU who are transfers who did that. I think that's a really smart way to go. I never really considered doing that, but I think looking back it would have been smart maybe to do that. But I mean, then there's like the connotation of community colleges, but I think it should be more normalized because it's a really economical way to do college. So something I get asked a lot about, and I talk about in my applying to NYU video, is stats. People have asked me everything from GPA to like ACT, SAT, like just stuff like that, where it's really been interesting because NYU has a lot of transfers, and I've randomly met and talked to a lot of them, and people will tell you some interesting things. Like I met someone who got in with like a horrible GPA, we're talking like 2 point something, and I was just like, how? Because I know there's people with like 3.8 who don't get in. So it's like, don't focus on the stats, and I think the best thing to do when you're applying, especially as a transfer, is to focus on your essays. I think I did a really good job of talking about why I wanted to transfer and putting a positive spin on it, what I wanted to get out of transferring, how I wanted to pursue journalism, I couldn't do that, and then also like why specifically you want to transfer to the school you want to transfer to, what it has to offer to you that you didn't already have. And so I think that's like a big influence on where you end up transferring, or whether you get in as a transfer too, because it's like you want to know why you want this, because it's a big decision. Like it does affect a lot of things, and you have to, you know, switch schools and everything, so they want to know that you really want this, I think. So I was a mid-year transfer, which I've gotten some questions about, and honestly I don't think it was like that drastically different from being in like beginning of the year transfer, because transferring is just going to be an adjustment. You're thrown into a new school, and so being mid-year is a little bit different, but I really don't think it's that different because people come and go a lot with study abroad, and you know, people drop out, that kind of thing. So I honestly don't think it was that detrimental for my like social life or anything. I think just being a transfer in and of itself is going to be a bit harder, but I wouldn't deter anyone from going mid-year because I don't think it like detracted from my experience as a transfer, because they still had transfer orientation and welcome week and all of that, even though I started in January. So if you're wondering about that, I would say like don't worry about being a mid-year transfer. But then again, I would definitely also say give yourself time to adjust, because I mean, it's like you're a freshman again, but then you're not. It's like this weird thing where you have to get used to a new school and how things run there and what the environment's like, but then you already know how college works. So at least you have that out of the way. But yeah, I guess just like give yourself time to adjust is the biggest thing. I would also say it's very interesting how the people who I've become friends with, a lot of them are people who are not in my class and who are also transfers. Like I met a lot of transfers, and then you bond with people who are also transfers as opposed to like your social class, because basically being a transfer, like the whole like typical notion of like class and stuff gets kind of messed up with your credits, and like I'm probably graduating early, so it honestly just like don't really worry about like what social class people are in, and just meet other transfers who are going through the same thing. My best friend here in New York is a fellow transfer. That's how we met, kind of, and it's nice having someone to go through the experience with. So if you can make other transfer friends, they're a great asset to helping you adjust because they're going through the same thing. Kind of like when you're a freshman, oftentimes you hang out with other freshmen who are getting adjusted. So it's a good time to meet other transfers, and then from there expand your social circle. I would also say just be patient with your adjustment. It takes time to adjust, and be patient with getting to know the new school. And you might feel lonely at first, which is normal again, but if you made the right choice, hopefully you'll be happier there, and in the long run you'll know that it's like the right place for you. Like I knew that once I came to New York, like pretty quickly I knew New York was the right place for me, even though it did take time to adjust. And because you are a transfer, like yeah, like I said, it takes time to adjust, but really take that time to explore your new area, like take time for self-care and that kind of thing. Use that extra time that you may have to your advantage, or get a job. There's a lot of benefit to just taking time for yourself and getting used to your new environment. Like for me, that meant exploring New York a lot, and I really got into doing that, and that helped me be more comfortable here, I think. So I am really grateful that I was able to do that a lot, and I would definitely recommend doing that in your free time. So overall, I would say I do not regret my transferring experience whatsoever. If you're thinking about transferring and taking it very seriously, it's probably the right choice, because you don't really know what college is like until you get there. Colleges advertise a certain way, and a lot of them advertise in very similar ways. They're like, give study abroad, we have a Quidditch team, look at our beautiful campus. And once you get to college, you realize the reality of things can be really different, especially if you go somewhere that's like a new environment, which was kind of what I did, and it didn't really end up being the right environment, but I knew I didn't want to stay in the Midwest where I'm from. So it's just a process of figuring it out, and you also grow a lot in college, and so you change, and sometimes where you start might not be where you need to be 2 years from when you started. So I think it's really normal for people to change and figure out what they want, and I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to just realize you are enough and you're not behind because you transferred. It's not weird that you transferred. So if you get anything out of this video, I hope it's that you can accept that sometimes transferring is a good option and it could be the right thing for you, even if you don't know other people who are doing it, because it's actually really normal. I have been so surprised, but there's so many transfers in all of my classes. Like I have met so many transfers at NYU. It's very normal. But when I first transferred, I didn't know hardly anyone who had. So just, I think, take that into consideration, that you're not behind and it's going to be okay. Transferring is actually surprisingly normal, and you're not weird for wanting to do it. So yeah, like I said, I get lots of questions about transferring, so if there's anything specifically that I didn't answer, check out my other videos first, and then if you still have questions about something more specific, whether that's NYU related, just transferring logistics, anything like that, definitely DM me on Instagram, or you can leave comments down below. Any of that works. So yeah, I hope this was helpful, and if you aren't already subscribed, definitely do that because I make a lot of videos about transferring in college and living in New York and being an NYU student. So yeah, and if this helped you, definitely give it a thumbs up. Alright, that's it. I will see you all in the next video. Bye. Darcy out.